how this march past happened for Rajasthan. And there you see, Joy, I mean, it just kept coming, right? They just had no partnerships at all.
Yeah, no partnerships at all. Then, this first ball dismissals, most of them, I'm like Uttappa, like picking out a fielder. Samson also not a great stroke under the circumstances. He sort of hurried onto the ball. All these dismissals were dismissals that could have been avoided. It's not as if it was not a DK kind of dismissal, unplayable delivery. Okay, it happens. A great bowler gets a great ball. You've got yourself out. All these batsmen will be looking at the videotape tonight and saying, I needn't have got out. Yeah. It was my decision rather than the bowler's contribution that got me out. And those 3 first ball wickets were actually crucial. Yeah. They were the cream of the Rajasthan batting.
Paulie, today with the Rajasthan batsmen, you would have liked to see just a little more application, a little more cognizance of the situation, of the ground that they're playing on. Just stay a while. Just hang on a second.
Yeah, you also look at the bowling lineup that they're coming up against. There will be periods where there's going to be a little bit of inexperience. And, those are the kind of guys you try and put under pressure. Those are the ones you tend to target. But when they come on and you 2 or 3 are down already, there's not much you can do. So I think just the planning on that one, it wasn't a massive score to chase. They probably would have been a bit disappointed they didn't restrict them to less. But I think those first 6 and those 3 guys at the top definitely could have given themselves more of a chance.
Yeah, they could have, and it was not to be for Rajasthan. Joy, sorry, you were saying?
No, there are a couple of things that I want to point out here. One is that the aggression shown by KKR early, that third over from Cummins, that's so typically, again, as we spoke about it, that's so typically Brendan. When you're on top, force your advantage in. And while he didn't get a wicket, they got a wicket on the other side. The other thing I want to tell you is, take a look at just before he got out, after Uttappa got it. He comes in, you can make out he's not in the best of form, he's not in the best of, frames of mind. Yeah. And he dabs a ball and he takes a suicidal single. The guy who was running to the danger end was actually Joss Buttler. And Buttler, like, the international cricketers, Indian cricketers wouldn't have run on that ball. International cricketer, he's called, he just went for it. He would have been out by 1.5 yards. And if you remember after that, Uttappa goes back to him and says, sorry. But the fact of the matter was that Uttappa endangered a batsman in form just because, at that point in time, and that tells you a little bit about the train wreck that the innings was, It never quite really got going. Steve Smith like that, Uttappa, just all over the place. It was just a train wreck of an innings.
Yeah, it really was today. I don't think, Rajasthan has a lot of questions after this game, don't they, Paulie?
Yeah, they do. I think they've got to find the right personnel in the middle there. It doesn't look like a really solid unit. Yes, Jofra Archer did a good job and Tom Curran's going pretty well, but you can't be relying on those guys. And I think the Sharjah wicket where they came in and just smashed it sort of suited that middle order. I think as they go to the other grounds, the bigger, the sixes that they have to hit have to be massive in order to clear the boundaries. I'm not convinced. I don't walk away looking at that middle order thinking confidence. When Tom Curran came in, how well did he hit the first 6 or 7 deliveries, which showed you that surface was still good. And if you got yourself in, you could have done some damage. But I think there might be some tinkering in that middle order in particular.
Yes, the stickability is what we're talking about. Just stay there for a while and then back yourself. And that's what you were not seeing. Joy, you had a few suggestions when we were talking earlier of the changes you might end up seeing in Rajasthan.
No, absolutely. I think if Riyan Parag is going to bowl 1 over once in a while in this thing, they just can't afford to have the luxury of that 8th bowler. Yashasvi Jaiswal has done stuff for them. He's somebody they entrusted with the opening. They have to put him in. And I also don't see Robin, playing a very concerted part. Right at this point in time, the way his frame of mind is, I think they need to, even if it's not for the entire tournament, rest him a bit, let him get his mind in order, because right now he's not doing any favors to himself and the team. It's important that he settles down and he gets something for them. And as you said, they have just one more game left in Sharjah. The other games are going to be Dubai or Abu Dhabi. And the kind of game that they had in Sharjah is not going to repeat itself.
I think also they're missing the likes of Ajinkya Rahane, aren't they? I know he's sitting on the bench for the Delhi Capitals, so it's not an ideal situation for him. But he brought a bit of solidity to that order. They lost some early wickets. There was always him to rely on. He'd knock it around. He'd give the innings a bit of structure. And sometimes you look at him, oh yeah, but the strike rate's not great or whatever. But sometimes you also look back and think exactly what kind of role they played and how valuable they were at times.
Yeah, Paulie, absolutely. I want to take you up on because exactly that what we call the class international batsman. He's not going to give himself out easily. I mean, Rahul Tewatia may be a hero for a day or a couple of days, and bully for him. He's a very brave player, but he's not a class international act that okay, I can knock the ball around a bit. Even if a 150 bowler comes in, I'm not going to lose my shape. I can at least place it around for singles. They don't have that sort of middle order stopper who can change gears.
Like Morgan has done in 2 games for Kolkata.
Exactly.
Yeah. So they need that kind, and they've traded Rahane, they sold him to Delhi. But you could tell that he was going to go because even the last season, Steve Smith, there was a transfer of captaincy and there was a transfer almost of trust and responsibility that was very evident even off the field. I guess it's just best for a player to then leave that kind of setup.